Alrighty guys, I got an awesome show lined up for you today. We are back on that Masterbuilt Gravity-Fed XT. I've got a 20-pound brisket all ready to go, and we are welcoming in our new sponsor, Chefstemp. So look man, my name is Tommy, and of course this is the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. If this is your first time here, you gotta hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you get notified every time the channel does a future upload. For those that have been following the channel know that I've been using Chefstemp now probably for two and a half years. So when they reached out to the channel and wanted to do a sponsorship, it was a no-brainer for me. And also they have given me 25% off for all my viewers for anything in the Chefstemp store. And look, we will be hearing a lot more about Chefstemp a little bit later in this show and definitely in some upcoming shows. But what I want to do here now, again, we've got that 20-pound brisket, and as you guys know, I've been wanting to try to do about a brisket a month. So look, what I want to do now is let's turn our attention down to the board and let's start the show. Alrighty guys, so here it is. This is a 20-pounder that I grabbed from my local Wild Fork. If you have not shopped with Wild Fork, again, 20 off 100. I'm gonna stick it up there so you can see it. If you do want a hard copy, you can just email it to me and I will send you along one. So look, the first thing we want to do here is get it out of the package and get some paper towels because you got to dry the brisket off. And as I am drying the brisket off, I am also looking it over to see what I have to do. Now keep in mind, this can be a daunting task if you've not cleaned many briskets, and hey look, that ain't my strong point neither, but some general rules of guidelines will have you a successfully cleaned brisket. And the first thing you're going to want to do is anything loose, anything flopping around in the wind, you got to get it off. Then pay attention to anything hard. Any hard fat is not going to break down. You got to gouge it out of there. You got to get it off. Once you've cleaned up any flappers, once you've got that hard fat out, it is time to start shaping the brisket. And also you've got to deal with that silver skin on the bottom side. So we will carefully start shaping the brisket. We will start getting rid of that silver skin. And if you're not sure of something, the best advice I got is to just leave it. But any darker colored meat around the edges, you want to get rid of that. And as you are doing that, again, you want to shape the brisket. That is probably the best advice I got. There are many videos out there on the tube how to clean a brisket properly. Please refer back to them. And once I got my brisket cleaned, I am happy with it. It is looking good. We will talk about rubs. So when it comes to rubs, your choices are simple. Leave all those fancy rubs out into the cabinet and grab your salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. Now look, basically, I keep this pre-mixed. I mix my own. I leave it in the cabinet. It is always there. I use it probably on 75% of my cooks. And if you have not mixed your own, I've got information down in the description with links straight to Amazon. Pick yourself up a pound of pepper, kosher salt, and also granulated garlic. The ratio is also down in the description, and start mixing it yourself. So basically we are going to hold this in the fridge for 48 hours. So we want to get plenty of rub on. You want to get both sides. You want to get all those edges. Once you get it all rubbed down and you are happy with that, get yourself a tray with a rack because you want that air to go underneath the brisket and do its thing. Grab all that, get it in the fridge, and just let it rest uncovered. Like I said, you can go 24 to 48 hours. I've got the time, so it is gonna be 48 hours for me. Oh yeah, after that 48 hours, I will bring you guys back and we will fire up my Masterbuilt Gravity-Fed XT. So guys, as we get going on this brisket here, remember we are gonna hot hold it in the oven for up to 20 hours. And basically what that is gonna do, that is gonna allow me to cook the brisket, rest the brisket, and have that brisket ready when I need it to be ready. And as always, I will have the whole thing broken down in the timeline step by step. So we did hold it in the fridge for 40 hours, and it is now about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we will start prepping that Masterbuilt to get it ready. I've got it all set up the night before, so all I gotta do is stick in my fire starters, light it up, set that dial to 275 Fahrenheit, and wait for about 15-20 minutes till it reaches that temp. At that point, we will get my Chefstemp wireless in the brisket, which is gonna monitor the internals of the brisket and also the ambient temperature of the pit, and I do have some running around to do, so I will take my phone with me obviously and monitor the pit that way. And basically the plan here is we will get it in the pit, we will let it go for 3 hours without peaking. At that time I will bring you guys back and we will spritz it down. 3 hours later and we are looking good. I am definitely digging the color. Now you can go two ways here, straight out water spritz, which is the way I am going, or you can go 50-50 water and apple cider vinegar. It really doesn't matter. The goal here is just get a little bit of misty on top. Do not forget the bottom, spritz up the bottom. Once you get it all spritzed down, we will just shut that hood, let it run for another hour or two straight into the stall. At that time, I will bring you guys back. And just like that, we are 4 hours in. Guys, this is the easiest method to do a brisket. There is no doubt about it. And again, I am digging the color. The bark is okay. I've had better barks, but the color is absolutely spot on. And as we get some temperature checks, you could see 4 hours at 275. That's gonna put you into the stall at about 160, 165, 167 or so. From there, we will remove the brisket. Now, if I didn't mention, I am gonna boat the brisket, which means I've got 2 heavy-duty sheets of aluminum foil all ready to go. So look, I do not wrap briskets anymore. Ever since I saw Chud do a boated method of a brisket, I have been doing it that way ever since. I have never been a big fan of wrapping any meat, as to me it just steams the meat a little bit too much. So the boat method is gonna be my preferred method of doing a brisket. Basically just lay that brisket into the foil, and you want to wrap under. You do not want to wrap over, wrap under, and bring it up the sides. That is going to protect the bottom, going to protect the sides, while still allowing you to build some bark. And also it allows me to keep my Chefstemp wireless gauge in the brisket. So back in the pit she goes, 275. Now we are just gonna do a thin mist on top and basically let it run right up into that about 197 to 200 or so, or toothpick tender. At that time I will bring you guys back. So guys, here we are approximately 8 hours later, and this is where the whole thing just starts to get too easy. As we check out that brisket, we can see we are definitely toothpick tender right around that 200 range. That is going to be perfect. We will get that brisket off, and when I say easy, I mean easy, because I am under no pressure to rest this sucker and have it ready by dinner time, which is probably going to be in about 2 hours. So basically from here, I am going to rest this on the side of the oven in the house, because we want that temperature of the brisket to come down from 200 to about 165 or so. That's going to take about 2 to 3 hours. At that point, I will set the dial on my oven to 170. That is going to dip that temp to about 165, 175 in the oven, and I will just let it rest in the oven for up to 24 hours. So now the brisket is going to be ready when I want it to be ready. And double bonus on that, that fat will continue to render inside the oven. Again, best of both worlds. Just about the easiest way to do a brisket that I know how. So look, that's where we are now. I will see you guys probably in about 15 hours or so. We will get the brisket here on the board, slice it up, check it out, and talk about it. Alrighty guys, and here is our brisket here on the board. We rested it about 14 hours or so. I will have all the particulars on this cook down in the description. And one thing right off the bat, when we pulled this off the pit, I was not happy with the bark. We've got a nice, I'm not sure if you can hear this, but we've got a nice crusty bark. That is the That is the product of this boat as you can continue to build that bark, I should say. Let's get it out of the foil, get it on the board. And she is definitely nice and tender. Got to get a little bit of juice on there. So guys, look, what I want to do here is let's drop this camera down here below. Let's give this a slice up. Let's see how we did. And oh yeah, the Chefstemp, excellent. Alrighty guys, so this is what we all came for. Let's cut this bad boy open. We will take it right down the center. And as you can see, she is definitely cutting like butter. Oh man. And she's got the juice, man. She is definitely juicy. Got the nice jiggle wiggle. As we cut into this, into this point a little bit, she is definitely on the tender side. Maybe a tad too tender for me, but I am definitely liking what I see. Let's turn this around and let's get a couple slices from the flat. And as you can see, as we cut the flat, the juice is definitely in there. There is no doubt about it. But you see, we got a little bit of splitting on the end of the flat. That tells me she is a little overdone, a little too tender. That said, she definitely looks good and definitely is packing the juice. What I want to do here is let's take this in live and let's talk about it. Alrighty guys, and here you go, and I have to tell you, she is probably a little too tender, probably overcooked just a tad, and I do think that I left it on the pit 8 hours. I was surprised it was done before that 8-hour mark, but it is a prime and they cook faster. I pulled it off at that 205 or so. I should have probably pulled it off at that 197. We will nail that on the next brisket. Flavor is still there. It is still through the roof with flavor. It has definitely got a lot of juice. You can see the brisket here. Again, very juicy. It's got a lot of play in it. The Chefstemp nailed it. Worked. The Masterbuilt. You know, what could I say about that XT, man? The thing is a beast for sure. I've got some nuggets right here all cut up, and here is the full brisket. I've been hitting it for the past 10 minutes, although, again, a little too tender for my liking. Still amazing in flavor. Barky, smoky, pull apart, tendery brisket, and cheers. So look, man, that is it for this one. This is another brisket. I will have another brisket hopefully next month. I've been wanting to do a Walmart brisket, so you are going to want to stay tuned for that for sure. So guys, the lesson here is when you got an expensive meat on the pit and you've got errands to run, maybe you want to do those errands another day. Again, I got to thank Chefstemp for allowing me to cook for them. I appreciate those guys. They're all good people. Don't forget that 25% off code. Again, my name is Tommy. I appreciate you all. Another brisket in the books. And until next time, we will see you soon.